It looked like his Indian career was over, probably in all three formats. You know, he'd not been a retained player from KKR in the IPL. He, right now, is arguably one of the best finishers in the T20 game, which he was probably never really thought of being. I thought his playing days were over and he's transferring himself into the commentary box, but he's gone back the other way. I'm pleased and also quite surprised, to be honest, the way that he's been able to turn his career around in the last couple of seasons. It's a great achievement because it's not an easy thing to do. To get better at that age is not easy. Early in his 30s is probably where we're all at our best as cricketers and certainly as batsmen, but for him to be at his absolute best now at 37 is a great achievement.
Oh, brilliant! Well done, DK.
It would have only been 6 months ago that he probably felt he's behind Saha, Pant, Samson, KL. So he would have been behind all of those guys. And to stay motivated, to think that he's going to be good enough to get back in the team ahead of 4 or 5 other keepers would have been a really difficult thing to do. But you know, one thing I know about Indian players that I've worked with is that they never give up the belief that they're good enough or can play for India. And that want and will just to play one more single game for their country is fantastic. So no doubt at some stage Dinesh would have had some doubts if he was going to make it back. But the way he's played, he's made it impossible for them not to pick him. Seemingly every time he's gone into a game in the last 12 months, he's made a very big impact on that game. It's almost an old man's game. I mean, everyone says it's more physically demanding because of the pace the game's played, but just the expertise and the knowledge that a lot of these, you know, more experienced players have, they find they understand game situations and they know what they need to do and they get it done more often than not. You know, MS is a great example of that still. You know, Dwayne Bravos and the Pollards and these guys that have played God knows how many games. Even think about Malinga. You know, he played up until his late 30s as well and was still as good as ever with the ball. So it's definitely an old man's game, experienced man's game. But to get better at that age, it can't be easy.
Well played. Excellent awareness from Dinesh Karthik.
He certainly looks as fit as he's ever looked. He's batting in a position that he's made his own now in the last couple of years. When he was at KKR, he was sort of up and down the order. Probably even when he was with the Indian team, he was used in a lot of different batting spots. And it looks like now that he's got that, you know, for sort of 14 over, 15 over onwards time that he's going to go in and bat and try and finish and win games. That's certainly what he did at RCB, and that's the way that India are using him now as well. So, I mean, that might be the personal challenge they had to get over, to forget about, you know, being one of the highest scorers in a game batting up the order, but batting down the order and getting your head around being someone that's going to win games and finish games. And that, you know, that's got to be a big adjustment for players, but he seems to have done it really well. I see him bringing a game that is full of confidence at the moment. I think that match-winning attitude, I don't think there's much fear now, fear of failing with him. I think because he's been successful for a long time now, he just thinks he's going to keep being successful. He's not scared of failing, and that going into a big tournament I think is really, really important. In big tournaments you need guys that are willing to do that and not freeze on the big stage, and I think that's what Dinesh will bring.